Hey there, fellow readers, Mrs. Weidman here, and today we're going to be talking about the epic, action-packed, super great adventure novel Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. This is the first book in a series that's really hard to peg down. We put it in adventure, but it could also be dystopian, and it's got some advanced technology, so maybe it's a little bit sci-fi, right? It's kind of all over the map, but overwhelmingly it is an action-packed, cutthroat, high seas adventure and kind of a culture that's a little bit Viking-ish and a little bit piratey, right? So this book follows a girl named Caledonia Styx, and unfortunately, Caledonia lives in this world that's overseen by this evil Viking-ish warlord named Eric Athair. And Eric, before this book takes place, has really made a name for himself in this place called the Bullet Seas. He has a city that he kind of leads everything out of, but he has complete reign over an entire fleet, hundreds of advanced ships, and a training camp, and thousands of people, right, who are in his service willingly, right? So Eric actually rules the seas by force. He's this bloodthirsty, ruthless dude. And essentially he basically sends out his bullet fleet, his bullets, which are what the people who are on the ships are called, right, to enforce his rule of law, to take all of the resources from the sea that he could find, and to quash any resilience and any resistance that he discovers that threatens his rule as the rightful leader of the Bullet Seas. However, the only way that Eric really controls his five sons and really controls his bullets, right, is through conscription. He forces people he captures into his service, and then he gives them a bunch of drugs that basically make them super strong, super aggressive and angry versions of themselves, right? But it also makes them indebted to him because they will do anything to make sure that they can get their next dose, even if it's maybe an awful thing like killing an entire ship full of people, right? So one day, the very start of this book, chapter 1, right, Caledonia is actually out on a mission with her family. She lives on this boat, right, full of a bunch of rebels, and they're really just trying to survive. They're trying to escape the influence of Eric, and they're trying to flee to a part of the sea that they think can give them what they need and a life of peace and freedom. But unfortunately, they need supplies to do that. So Caledonia and her best friend are sent onto this island. They're there to forage for fruit and other supplies in order to make sure that their ship is fully prepped to run for it, to run away from Eric and escape forever and ever. Well, unfortunately, while she's on the island, she runs into, you guessed it, a bullet boy, right? And at first, for some reason, Caledonia just ignores all of her instincts. And she's like, hey, maybe I shouldn't shoot this bullet first. Maybe I should hear what he has to say. And so as she's talking to him, she starts to be like, well, maybe there's something more to these bullets. Maybe there's another side to this story. And then do you know what happens? The bullet stabs her in the stomach because she ignored her advice. And then to make things even worse, the bullet runs back to her parents' boat full of refugees, full of families, and literally burns it, right, and kills everybody on board. So the only survivors are Caledonia and her best friend, who then make it their mission in life to hunt down this bullet, to hunt down Eric Athair, and end their reign of terror on the Bullet Seas. And Caledonia does this by becoming the first leader of an all-female crew of pirates slash Vikings. So if you like action-packed books, if you are super interested in pirates or Vikings, or if you just kind of want like an interesting dystopian book that kind of breaks away from other dystopian books you might see, then I highly recommend Seafire as a next great read for you. See you all online soon.